Happy birthday. If you like pickled octopus, then you are going to adore these. And lastly, I received this beautiful gift from my girls. Hello friends and welcome back. Today's video is all about my birthday and how I spent last weekend. I turned 57 on Friday and my husband took me to a beautiful winery in the Yarra Valley in Coldstream. I think it was called Molitos. I did share it on my Instagram, so if you followed me there you would have seen this reel of a beautiful restaurant. We ended up having a banquet where there were a lot of shared plates to share amongst us, amongst the two of us, and it was absolutely delicious. We are so lucky to live only 45 minutes away from the Yarra Valley and from all these beautiful wineries, and we had never actually turned right. When we head off to Healesville and we hit the main highway to get to Healesville, we turn left and we've never turned right. But if you turn right and then turn left again, you get to find all these beautiful wineries, and one of them was this Molitos, I think it was called. I'll put it down on the screen here below because I'm horrible with names, but it's near the St. Herbert's wineries and a lot of other beautiful wineries. So we took a little bit of a detour, had a wander around and looked around and just enjoyed a beautiful lunch out with my husband, who kindly gifted me also these beautiful red roses on my birthday, on Valentine's Day, on our anniversaries. My husband generally will buy me flowers and leave them for me at the coffee station, because I'm the first one to get some in the morning and he's not. He likes to sleep in. So whenever I get up, the first thing I do is go and have a cup of coffee, and I go make myself a cup of coffee. So that's his way of wishing me a happy birthday or happy Valentine's, happy anniversary, and be the first one to do that. So there's always a bunch of flowers there, and his preference is red roses, which I love, and a beautiful card as well that I can read first thing in the morning while I'm having my coffee. So that's how I started my day. I ended up going to Pilates with my daughter and then come back, exercise, shower, get ready and go for lunch. At lunch I ended up wearing a beautiful blue linen dress that I have from Target. I'll put a photo up here so you can see. Then lunch, and then after that I came home, had a relaxing day. We had both taken the day off work. He unfortunately had to go back and do some work in his office in the afternoon, but I just relaxed because in the evening I was getting spoiled by my children. Excuse me, it is really hot today. It's going to be 37 degrees, and not that I'm having hot flushes, but even the cooling isn't quite, the air conditioning isn't quite keeping up with the heat of today in the house. So anyway, my children ended up cooking dinner for me. My eldest daughter made a delicious antipasta platter. My son made a beautiful seafood pasta, which unfortunately I didn't take any footage of. I was just so in the moment with that. With the pasta platter, I was there to see it getting prepared. But then when he left the table with his girlfriend to go and prepare the seafood salad, we were still sitting at the table nibbling on the antipasta platter. So I don't have any footage of him preparing it, nor do I have any footage of him bringing it to the table. But I can tell you it was delicious. It was a marinara, spaghetti marinara, which was beautiful. And then my daughter, my youngest daughter, Charlotte, she made me a beautiful lemon ricotta cake.
Happy birthday, dear Deborah. Happy birthday to you.
Blink and it'll be that. Which was delicious, and a fruit platter. So overall that was quite a beautiful dinner. And forgetting to tell you, my husband ended up making a delicious cocktail. I think it was a pink lemonade something, and it was yummy. You could not taste the alcohol. Admittedly, there wasn't a lot of it in there. It was made with Sprite, Malibu, a little bit of vodka, cranberry juice and limes, fresh limes. Yummy. It was absolutely delicious. So that was how I celebrated my birthday. On the weekend, I've got my gifts here to show you, but I think I'll leave those for last. Let me tell you a little bit about the weekend. Saturday was a very lazy day. It was very warm, so we just went and did some grocery shopping. We actually went to the Preston market and bought some mussels because I felt like making mussels. Last time I had attempted to make mussels was on New Year's Eve, and because we're having so many people around, I thought I would bake them in the oven. But because they need to be stirred and actually steamed, so as soon as they open, you take them out in the oven. I missed that opportunity, so they ended up, the ones that were in the liquid underneath were juicy, but the ones at the top had dried out. So don't try and bake your mussels because it's not going to work. So I thought, well, if everyone's going to be home on Sunday night for Sunday night dinner, I'll make a mussels. So I'll show you that here of how I make. Has cleaned the mussels for me. So they're all clean on the outside. They've been debearded, so all the little fluff that was there before has all gone. For the mussels, I'm just putting a little bit of oil, an onion, finely chopped, and garlic, 2, 3, 4 cloves, finely chopped. Let that cook down. Some Italian herbs, a bit of chili, let the tomatoes soften. I added some wine, about maybe half a cup of wine to the garlic, onion and tomatoes, and then let that cook down a little bit, and then I threw in the mussels, cover them with a lid until they start opening like that. That's when you know they're ready. On Saturday at the market, I also saw that there were some beautiful octopus, and we love the pickled octopus, but whenever we buy some, they're quite expensive. I think the last time we bought some, they were $110 a kilo. So I buy a tiny little container of it and just we use it sparingly. We just get a few morsels of it because it's just so delicious and everyone wants to just gobble it up. So when I buy it, it's quite a delicacy. So last time I saw octopus, I thought I really want to try and make it, and I had tried to make it a couple of years ago, but it didn't quite turn out. This time I thought, well, I'll buy 2 long tentacles, which ended up being a kilo of octopus. They were quite long and heavy, and I thought what I'll do is I'll clean it and then I'll cook it and I'll halve it. Half of it I'll pickle it, and the other half I'll cook in a pasta. Well, when I cooked it, you will see in the footage coming up, it actually almost halved in size. So by the time I cut it up, it ended up being only one tiny little serving. So I thought, I'm not going to cook this with a pasta. I'm just going to make it into pickled octopus. And I have to say, I'll let the footage tell you how it turned out. Yesterday we went to the market and I bought a kilo of octopus tentacles and decided to try and make my own pickled octopus. And Kevin and I have just tried this and I think I have nailed it. I added white wine vinegar, olive oil, pepper, dry rosemary, chili flakes and salt, and they are delicious. I think I finally nailed making pickled octopus. Look out for an upcoming recipe on how I made these because I nailed it. I think I truly nailed it this time. If you like pickled octopus, then you are going to adore these. So then for Sunday night dinner, I ended up making the mussels as the main, and I felt that I'd bought 3 kilos and 3 kilos just didn't seem to be, well, I thought it was going to be enough because when there's the 5 of us, I buy 2 kilos, and I thought with 7, I'll just add another kilo and there'll be plenty. Problem is, these mussels were sitting in water, so when I bought 3 kilos, I didn't actually see the quantity of mussels, so it ended up being that when I actually got them home, it I mean, half a kilo of mussels or 400 grams of mussels each, I thought would have been plenty as a meal. But when I visualized it and I actually counted out how many mussels, it ended up being that each person got about 9 to 10 mussels each. A lot of the weight had come from the water. Next time I'll be a bit more aware of that and maybe buy 4 kilos. But I put them in water with salt to create a similar environment to where they are naturally, so that they open up and clean somewhat. And then I left to go sit by the pool because it was such a hot day yesterday, that after I had done everything that I needed to do, grocery shopping, walking with my girlfriend, come home, clean the house, I just wanted to sit by the pool and relax. So my husband kindly de-bearded the mussels for me. Before then I cooked them. But as I was walking with my friend yesterday morning, I was telling her about what I was going to cook, and I was saying, you know, I feel like it's not going to be enough, and I don't want to make an antipasta platter because we had that on Friday night. And she suggested that I make a rocket salad with smoked salmon on top, and she said you could use like capers and shavings of fennel. And I thought, oh, that sounds delicious, with a nice white wine vinegar vinaigrette with Dijon mustard. And I thought, oh, yum, that sounds delicious. So I ended up making that as an entree dish, and then the mussels, and then for dessert it was just a watermelon, sliced up watermelon. It was just too hot yesterday to eat anything more substantial than that. Mind you, we did have some nice crusty bread to dunk into the juices that the mussels created. I'll show you in the footage how I cook it, but it was delicious, trust me when I say that. And another thing that I did this weekend is make homemade passata. But I normally make passata and I make a double batch and freeze it, but at the moment I have no space in my freezer, so I decided to make bottled passata so that while I'm away or in the winter time, when we need access or we need to have a tomato sauce, it's just ready to go and jarred. I started saving bottles last year because I actually wanted to make bottled tomatoes last year, but I ran out of time and I just missed the window of opportunity of getting tomatoes to make them. So I kept collecting bottles of passata, empty passata bottles throughout the year, and now I've got a nice big box of it. On Sunday when I went grocery shopping, I ended up buying a whole heap of tomatoes really cheap, and I thought, let me practice making my passata sauce and bottling it for the winter, so that come winter, when tomatoes aren't as readily available and they're not as flavoursome as they are now, I can just go to my pantry or my garage, grab a bottle and have a ready tomato sauce to cook with. And I went one step further, and instead of just bottling the tomatoes into tomato purees, I actually turned it into my Napoli sauce by adding onion, garlic, sauteing it in some oil, and then cooking the tomatoes, adding chili, salt, and my Italian herbs and spices, cooking it all up, blending it all up so it's nice and smooth, and then bottling it. I'm going to take the biggest pot that I've got, add a really good glug of olive oil, because this is going to make a lot of sauce. Once the oil has warmed up, it's about 4 cups really of onions and the head of garlic in there, just chunks. I haven't bothered cutting it up because, as I said, I'm going to be blending it in my blender. All in there, mix it all in, and once the oil gets hot and the onions have broken down somewhat, I'll add the tomatoes. Now that I've cut up and chopped up all the tomatoes, I'm thinking I'm not going to be able to fit it all in one pot. So I'm going to keep cooking the onions in here, but I'll divide the tomatoes amongst these 2 pots and reserve some more for here. And once the onions are fully caramelized, I'll transfer some into that pot, some into that pot, keep some in here, and then add all these tomatoes just so that they're not stewing somewhat, that they actually start cooking evenly in multiple pots. Now the tomatoes in, I'm just going to turn the stove top down to low and just let them simmer away slowly for about 20 to 30 minutes until the tomatoes start breaking down. And now to get ready, I'll turn my stove on to 120 degrees. The bottles are in the oven at 120, the light's gone out, and they'll need another 5 minutes before they're ready to be filled up. Once the tomatoes are cooked, I'm just going to blitz them. And just so that creates a really smooth sauce. Beautiful and creamy. I'll let that simmer away, only because it's not quite cooked all the way through. See how there's still a bit of chunks? See how the colors of the two sauces are slightly different? So what I'm going to do now is try and mix the two so that they become a consistent color for both batches. It's only been a few more minutes, but the sauce is quite ready. You can see the bubbles are quite thick bubbles, so it's ready to be bottled. I'm just going to turn it off. Now the bottles are still in the oven and they're warm, actually quite hot. So I'm going to use a towel to pick them up carefully. Let me just check the flavor of this sauce. Oh, it's perfect. Might need just a little bit of extra salt. And it's just beautifully sweet, tasty, enough of chili to give it a bit of a kick. And there's still a bit of onion chunks in there that make it nice and homemade. Now, I'm going to open the stove and take the bottles carefully out of the stove. They are very hot. And transfer the tomato sauce into the bottles. Now, the trick is to make sure the tomato sauce is hot and the bottles are hot and the lids are hot. And to not overfill the bottles, but to leave about an inch or so, just like that. And make sure that you're using the right lid. Now, the bottle is quite dry on the outside. Seal the lid tightly and see how it moves. Once it cools down, the pressure in the bottle will make this pop. Just as long as you make sure that it's hot, the bottle is hot on the side like that, and continue. These are hot. I did not buy new lids. I just reused the ones that came with the bottle. Some people do buy new lids. I just don't. What I do is I tighten them, and if they don't seal, then I throw them away. This one here didn't seal properly, so it just means that it's worn and useless, so I'm throwing that one out. But otherwise, these are all cooling down. See that one there just popped and stayed down? That's sealed. That one's sealed. That one still hasn't sealed. Now, as they cool down, the pressure will build up and they'll seal like that and they won't pop anymore like that one does. So out of those tomatoes, and I really don't know whether I had maybe 5, 6 kilos of tomatoes, I made 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 and a half bottles of tomato sauce and Napoli sauce. So this will come in handy for when we're away or for those nights where I just don't have time to make anything from scratch. I just boil a pot of pasta, a pot of water, throw some pasta in it, and I have tomato sauce, Napoli sauce, Italian sauce ready to go for the evening. Alternatively, you can just fry up some beef and turn it into bolognese sauce. Very easy to make, just time consuming, and today is a really hot day, so it probably wasn't ideal, but I had the house pretty much to myself, the kitchen to myself, and I thought, and I had tomatoes, so I thought this was going to be the ideal day to make them. And now finally, I'll show you the gifts that I received from family and friends this weekend. I'll start with the things at the top. I got some beautiful cookbooks, some new ones to me. This one is by Lucy Tweed, Every Night of the Week, a zero tolerance approach to blend meat-free beyond Monday. And it's a book about cooking vegetables for every day of the week. And there are some beautiful dishes here that I hadn't seen before, I hadn't heard about before, and even also some interesting dishes of things that I might have cooked previously, but in a different way. So, for example, this is chickalikas, and it looks like corn chips with cheese and avocados on top, which would be your standard nachos dinner. But this one seems to have some interesting new things. So this has actually got eggs on top of it, which reminded me a little bit of my ranch style eggs that I cook. And those don't come on a bed of nachos or corn chips. So I thought this looks interesting. So I'm really happy to have received these from a girlfriend. There are some beautiful new recipes that I'm interested in trying out. This is mushroom and miso congee. Never cooked anything like that. There's personality potatoes, so loaded, sticky, and crispy. Again, absolutely delicious. So I thought this would give you some inspiration to cook some new things on a weeknight. The other book that I received is A Country Style Caesars, a year of recipes from Steve Camper. And not only is this a beautiful cooking book with loads of beautiful recipes, it's also a very aesthetically beautiful book that I could put on my coffee table. It just goes with the vibes of my decor, and I absolutely loved it. It's got some beautiful pictures inside it of countryside and sheep and just mountains, and the recipes are just delicious. This gorgeous signet cheesecake. Look how beautiful that looks. It's just delicious. It's made with caster sugar, brandy. It's got me at the brandy, right? Sultanas, goat's curd, eggs, lemons, icing sugar, and cream to serve. Oh, yum. I want to try that. Salmon fish fingers. So there's some basic recipes, not too fancy, which is really my style of cooking. I don't like recipes that require too many steps or too many ingredients. These look fancy enough, but basic enough for me, if that makes sense. So I'm interested in following these recipes, and that was another gorgeous cooking book that I received. I have all my cards here. I just love receiving birthday cards, and then I love seeing them. They just bring me joy. I also received some movie vouchers. So I got a gold class card and I got a cotton on card. I received some beautiful new servingware. Look how beautiful this one is. It says Ciao Bella. I actually received 3. The third one is in my fridge with the watermelon because I used it last night. This one is delicioso. And my son who gifted me these said you needed some color because when you go to Italy, you're going to have some beautiful color there, and this will put you in the mood for when you're there. Platters are from a Roundhouse, and the third platter said buon appetito. It's pretty much like this one here, but I think it's blue with orange writing, and it says buon appetito in the middle. And I used them last night for my fruit, for my watermelon, and they are absolutely beautiful. I just love them. I received another candle from Dusk. You know, that's one of my favorite brands of candles that I absolutely love receiving. And this one here smells beautiful. It's a Nouveau collection, and it is a floral ambery fruity. So if you like, sorry, my foot was touching the platters. If you like the smell of amber, you're going to love this candle. And it's a beautiful dark black color with a black lid. So it will look beautiful on my coffee table soon when I start burning it. Along with that, I also received a wash and lotion duo from the same range, the Rose Saffron from Dusk. And these are absolutely gorgeous because they're made of glass, so they're very elegant and very beautiful to look at. Grey black glass container, and these are just gorgeous. I can't wait to put them out. I've kept them in the boxes just so that I could show you. But as soon as I finish filming this video, they're going to go in my powder room. I also received a beautiful collection of travel-friendly skincare. As you know, I'm going to Europe in a few months. 3 months, counting down February, March, April, May. Yes, 4 months. And so my daughter's boyfriend gifted me some beautiful skincare that I can take with me that are Korean skincare. So he gifted me the ultralight invisible sunscreen SPF 50. Apparently my daughter, who influenced his decision, said that these are the best Korean skincare at the moment. A low pH pore cleansing foam. So I've got sunscreen, I've got makeup remover. This is a serum or an eye cream, and I can only deduce that by the fact that on the photo it shows an eye with the cream underneath it. Otherwise the rest of the writing is in Korean, so I can't understand it. So I'm deducing that this is to do with the eyes. And then there is a white truffle double serum and cream, which is gorgeous because when I open it, it's a beautiful container, but it's divided into 2 portions. So it's got the serum on the one and the cream on the other. So this will come in handy on my travels because I've got everything in one. Like technically, this is all the skincare that I would need when I'm traveling in 4 months' time. So just in case you haven't realized, I'm super excited about this holiday. And lastly, I received this beautiful gift from my girls. My daughters went together to get me a new travel bag. Now, when I'm traveling to Europe, I'm restricted to only 20 kilos, so I can't take more than 20 kilos with me. And I guess my big travel bag is going to be 20 kilos. And then I think I'm allowed a carry-on, which will be 7 kilos, and then a shoulder bag. And normally I travel with a leather shoulder bag, which is quite heavy, but I'm thinking that I would need something a little bit lighter on this trip. And a lot of my leather shoulder bags don't have a zip in the middle. Like for example, the LV Neverfull, or I have an Oraton one, or even a Coach tote. They don't have a zipper on them. So I really wanted to have a bag that looked like a tote, that was a tote basically, that was a little bit fancy and that had a zipper on it, because as I'm traveling through Europe, I wanted to be safe in knowing that should I drop my bag, should I have it on my shoulder and be full, there's no possibility of pickpockets getting in there and grabbing my wallet or stealing anything. I have had some experiences in some European countries where pickpocketing is quite prevalent, so I wanted to make sure that I was covered. And so I asked my daughters for a Longchamp bag in this gorgeous color, which is a very neutral color that goes with my sandals that I'm planning on taking, my Jane Devster sandals, which are a tan with the white block heel. And it is the Longchamp, oh, I don't know what they're called. It's just a Longchamp travel bag, I guess. And it's a large size, but it's not the travel size. The travel size has got the smaller handles, which only come to about there. And I want to be able to wear the bag over my shoulder and have it zippered close like that for safety. So this is what I was gifted by my girls, and I am super excited about packing this when we go to Europe in a few months. This will be my everyday bag, and it'll be also my bag that I travel with. So I can put a scarf in here, I can put my passport in here, my wallet, my books, my laptop, anything I'm traveling with that I need handy access to when we're on board. I'll take this. It's not leather, so it's not very heavy. The only leather bits are the handles and the tab, the closing tab here. Otherwise, the rest is made, I'm not really sure, it's a fabric, a coated fabric. So it's easy to keep clean, and it's got the zipper, so it's nice and safe. So that's my bag. Yeah, that's going to be my travel bag when I go to Europe. And these were all the gifts I received for my birthday. So you can see that was a really busy weekend with loads of different activities and lots of different things that were made. I really enjoyed it. I love spending time with my family, and I love spending time in the kitchen, getting myself organized for the days ahead. Let me know, do you do anything like that? I know many of you do pickles and chutneys, and I know that there's also a lot of Italians and Maltese girls that watch me, so I'm sure you might do the same. Let me know, do you do something different? How do you make your passata if you do bottle it for the winter? I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope wherever you are, you're having a fabulous day. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!